we do have a lot of these big picks. God damn it.
All right, Renekton first pick.
I'm like, Volley Bear is up, Graves is up. We get first pick Renekton. Still though, I think FPX, you can start to move in towards some of these picks. We're banned away. The set has been such a strong pick for FPX.
And it's been banned so far in the first game and the second one as well. So for FPX, this would go anywhere, right? I'm going to look across at champions played by Doinb. He's played this once, but 3 times for Crisp. So another flex that they've been relying on with the Nidalee for the first time in this series as well.
So this, at least to me, seems like, okay, FPX, we're just going to play at range. Doinb, as we talked about, doesn't really play the likes of the sorry, actually, I take that back. I was going to say Doinb doesn't really play the likes of the Zoe, so honestly, I think they're actually going to go more for a dive style of composition here, where we get to see that set in the bottom lane. The Renekton's already taken away, but maybe you go towards something like the Volley Bear in towards the top side of the map. Now, you do have a rough time in towards the Renekton, but at least you're doubling down on, hey, we want to get in, get aggressive. Maybe even something like the Silas as well could work here, but okay.
Okay, so we've got Jhin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the LPL, Jhin is played more than Varus. So, this is curious.
It's into Ashes when we usually see Jhin.
Yeah.
So it's not like we usually see the Jhin just out on his own. I mean, especially when you've got the likes of the Ezreal has been left open, which Hunafeng is super good at. We still have a lot of these picks that could do reasonably well. I'm surprised to see them going, like, first picking this Ezreal straight off the bat. Or sorry, first picking this Jhin with nothing else locked in.
A great point. We've also got the Jayce and Dagda. I'm going to push this along a little bit because I've noticed so far we have a lot of early game momentum built comps so far from both of these teams. It's about where it goes from here because we have a partial front line, better so on Sooning's side. The set, the only thing there for FPX so far. With the Zoe banned away, targeting the mid lane against Angel seems like a good call. But I want to see what they pair alongside this bottom lane that's already set up.
Especially when we look towards Sooning's side here, they have a composition that can do very well in a pick stylist. Because you do have, like, when we usually see the Jhin, it's like, okay, cool, when we got this long-range Deadly Flourish, let's try and use it to set up these plays, enable the likes of this Renekton, set up for the Nautilus. And this is maybe where we actually do see Angel taking a different style, going towards that Twisted Fate. And when you're looking at FPX's composition, which very much kind of wants to creep up, be poking you, playing off through these side lanes, could be the best way for them to aggress against the style of composition FPX is going.
We've already got double mid lane ban on the side. Both are just targeting each other with a Karma from Sooning. Now, the Twisted Fate's still open that you're mentioning there. I'll keep that in the back of my mind. I want to see what Sooning finish off with here. The Mordekaiser. Okay. Now, Khan or Gimgoon, they're the ones who've been playing the Jayce. We don't know where this set is going yet. FPX on red side will have a counter pick of their choosing.
Khan play Ezreal? That's the big question.
Oh, left open for the first time.
It is, and it's such a strong pick. But obviously, very unique AD carry. It's not like you can just kind of pick that up. You got a lot of skill shots. Your position has to be really strong. How you arcane shift forward.
They're going to make us wait, Dagda. They're going to make us wait to find out if we actually get an AD carry or if once again we get a top laner and roll swaps across the board. So, I'm sorry. We'll find out next time.
I'm blaming you anyway.
Hey, that's okay. I'm happy to take the anger. Okay, roll with me on Sooning.
So I think for Sooning, obviously, you're looking at that mid lane, looking at a jungle. I think this is a good call. You got the speed up from the Orianna. You can, again, facilitating the likes of this Renekton, and you've got this massive wombo. The only issue that I'm seeing on Sooning's side right now, though, is apart from the Deadly Flourish, they do struggle at range. So if you're able to play back with this Jayce and Nidalee, so I want to see what they lock in here. Something that can give them strong engage from the jungle. I mean,
SofM,
you can at times get it, but yeah, you are going to struggle here, Sooning's composition, if FPX are able to play this at range. But I think actually the Syndra works really well here. So Syndra bot lane is definitely something you can play. We've seen it countless times. Doinb taking that bot side. Now you've got a strong lane that does really well against this Jhin. You can push. You got great engage. The same when it comes to this Leona. A lot of kill pressure in that bottom side of the map. And then you've got this wonderful poke comp that FPX can play through.
I know people are sad that we don't see the Donger on the Rift, but we haven't seen a genuine AD carry if we were coming back to that Ezreal point in this series, so why would we start now? FPX will rinse and repeat and snowball the name of the game. Sure, there are some elements on Sooning that you talk about, especially the Orianna, that gives you something of that safety net for mid to late. but FPX, Dagda, correct me if I'm wrong, keep you at range. And they've got a tangible front line with the Sett and with the Leona as well.
So this is the thing. You are going to have Gimgoon going mid on the Sett. You're going to have this Jayce in the top lane for Khan. And the whole idea that you want to work with for this composition is keeping Suning at bay, poke with Nidalee, with Syndra, with this Jayce, but keep people away. You can have Sett play that showstopper, keep people at bay. Same with the Syndra and these Scatter the Weaks. And if you ever manage to broach both of those lines, you still got to get through this Leona. So honestly, I'm loving the composition that FPX have gone for, and I really think they can take it to Suning in this game number 3.
We'll find out, because for Suning, it's been a different comp for them as well. They've always had a lot of scaling elements, the better later scaling. Of course, when you have the Orianna, you have elements like the Jhin on those 3 items that we can talk about going into game with the traditional AD carries. The music ramps up, Suning and FPX ramp up. Our very last game of the regular season of 2020 here for summer. You're in the right place, you're at the right time as we close this one out. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get sad. Get happy that we made it all the way to the end of summer.
FunPlus 加油 Suning 加油
Ladies and gentlemen, almost 150 English broadcast series later, we have made it to the end of summer. This is it. FPX and Suning will take us to the game 3. And we've got interesting comps to talk about. Just as a side note, after all this League of Legends, again, there's always a game to surprise us, even here with the change. We've got a Nidalee versus a Lee Sin. Tian has Conqueror, so does SofM. Ward put down. Tian's going to back away.
If FPX win this series, does LWX come back into this team? Because honestly,
keep going.
FPX is looking like, okay, this is a combo that kind of works for us.
Yeah.
But either way, FPX, we talked about how good of a composition they have, how they are capable of playing at range. So let's talk about how Suning can try and dissuade that. How do they start to set up this game so they can succeed? And a lot of that is going to be on SofM. He is on this Lee Sin. He can go aggressive in these early stages and has to a certain extent, forgo his jungle to make these plays happen. You gotta, in this Lee Sin versus Nidalee matchup, go right. I'm not going to be able to clear as quick. Tian is going to be taking over my jungle, so you've got to nearly double down on those lane ganks to make sure that you're actually able to succeed, set your team up before you fall behind to how quickly this Nidalee can clear the jungle.
We'll have to track because it'll be a topside start here for both these junglers as Doinb sends out the laugh to kick off this game. Of course, same lanes as we've seen so far in the series. Doinb going to the bottom lane. Gimgoon mid with the Sett and the fleet footwork, and Khan back into the top side. Now, he's playing the Jayce that in game 1 he was absolutely demolished on. So after recovering in game 2 with a great Renekton performance, we'll see how he goes. As Dagda, quick look here at what Gimgoon's on. The unflinching secondary with second win. Okay, pretty standard stuff with the double adaptive focus. The rune, sorry.
Yeah, nothing too crazy here from Gimgoon. We know what this is going to be. Fleet
Adaptive
footwork to
force,
survive. That's when you go in. Still, even go towards the Bami Cinder, in towards the Sunfire, Deadmans. You're still playing Sett. You're still going to be looking to be this tank and provide this front line. And I don't think that's going to be much of an issue for Gimgoon. He's clearly played a lot of games of Sett, especially as a top laner. The interesting one for me, though, is actually on this bottom side of the map. I want to see how Doinb and Crisp are able to do in this bottom lane, because when we look at Tian, already pathed down towards this bottom lane, he's doing a very quick full clear of his jungle. There is the opportunity on this bounce back with Doinb and Crisp hitting that level 3 for them to look for an all-in with Tian in this bottom lane.
We'll see. Tian is a low mana, but just picked off his blue buff, so he should be fine. Currently on his Krugs, while SofM doing the same. Sorry, it's Gromp versus Krugs. Dredgeline going to pull in SwordArt here, close to the turret, but no Cigaras. Hunafeng doesn't get the Deadly Flourish down now. We've seen a lot of Jhin in the LPL as of recently, as you said, the response against the Ashe. Here against Syndra, we know that Doinb probably going to outrange bar that Deadly Flourish at this point, until we do get to 6 and the curtain call comes out. So, interesting interaction ready for us at that 6 point.
I'm still keeping my eyes on these junglers, though. SofM, despite having pressure in this bottom lane, hasn't actually moved to pick up that Scuttle Crab in bot side river. And this is going to hurt him a lot, because Tian has got the faster back. He's now out onto the map, has Gimgoon, who's pushed in really well in this mid lane too, because Angel actually hasn't been shoving these wave back out. So Tian can go over towards this scuttle, realize, hey, hang on a second, SofM is still here, who he's just spotted, take the scuttle, run bot side and pick that up for himself, as well as Gimgoon is already moving up with Khan moving down to support the scuttle.
SofM drops a ward just in case. Trap does the same and will spot out both junglers in succession. So scuttle top side here going to be taken, and Bin has to respect too.
And the reason this is actually such a big thing is that we already said, hey, look, SofM is going to be on the back foot in this matchup. You have to take everything you can get, especially at these early stages. And a misstep like that, where you don't use the advantage of your laners to try and secure these scuttle crabs, is actually a pretty big issue for SofM.
I will say, though, as Khan gets hit out, has to use his pots, he's down in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Scout of the Week connects onto Hunafeng. Doinb gets the phase rush, but he's low on mana. Deadly Flourish locks down Crisp. He takes up the majority of the damage as the Dancing Grenade follows through. Some good trading back from Suning's bottom lane. As once again, we're going on in. Ignite's placed down. The Orb's ready. Crisp waiting for the Q. The Shield of Daybreak connects and the flash burnt by SwordArt. Big summoners down in the bottom lane.
And just wait till this hits level 6.
Yeah.
Because that's where it ramps up another notch. You can already see the kill pressure that Doinb and Crisp have in this lane. Hunafeng and SwordArt have to be very careful, especially now that they have burnt both those summoners. Oh, although Hunafeng still has his flash up and available. Tian now trying to use the pressure that's been created by the FPX bottom lane to invade here.
Close.
Ooh, that spear was a little bit dangerous.
Would have come close to killing him as FPX now have to shove in the bottom lane. It'll be a safe back with SofM getting spotted out, excuse me. Gimgoon trading really well through mid as well, but Angel has been the one who's gotten better CS. But Gimgoon, we know his role in this game. We know what the take set mid does by now. He's level 6. Speaking of which, so is Angel. And I'm going to be tracking FPX's bottom lane closely because they're backing now. Dark Seal. What else? Doinb. Okay, there we go. The Sork Shoes picked up here for Doinb, and as you said, he's approaching that 6 points, so we're going to get real close to some kill threat as soon as that comes up.
And this is where I expect Tian to try and play very heavily through. Because as Hunafeng and SwordArt, you've got to give a wide berth to this bottom lane. The Scout of the Week can hit from so far away. That Solar Flare has such a long range too. And you cannot approach this wave while you've got Doinb and Crisp playing aggressively. And already you can see Tian, well, he's already invaded on this bottom side, so he's trying to make a nuisance for himself there. But I want to see him work with both Crisp and Doinb to set up these plays, but there's no cleanse available for Hunafeng. The cooldown's only halfway through. There's still enough time here for Tian to try and move in towards this bottom lane.
At the very least now, starts with the Dragon, gets 6, now heading back. So that's the first Dragon of the game for FPX going into the Infernal. We're getting an Ocean / a Cloud for one of these teams to finish off the series as Khan is in transition. Bin's going to come over the wall. The Accelerated Shock Blast doesn't connect. He goes onto Angel. Shockwave pulls him back in as he flashes away. Khan has made a misstep, and now he's going to pay for it with his life. First blood over to SofM.
Massive mistake coming through from Khan, not respecting that. When you hear that Dragon going down on the bottom side, SofM is clearly going to be moving up towards that top side. Does get caught out in transition, trying to get some ward, trying to get some safety for himself, and actually means SofM playing brave here, moving in to steal away this red buff.
But Tian not there in time, and it's a successful still. The deep boarding from Suning tracks where he is as Gimgoon now in the bottom side. He's going to walk through the turret. Hunafeng has his flash, burns, but they've got bigger targets. Onto SwordArt, he's just going to die. And Doinb picks up his first kill.
I thought it'd be Tian playing through, but it's actually Gimgoon is coming down to help the mid laner. And Khan now
Dominance being used. Tian is here over the wall, but Flash Burst is being the engage. When they get close, it's unbeatable. He gets kicked away, but Tian's still here on top of Bin. One more auto attack needed. Even with Dominance though, Triumph puts him back on up. And now Tian, underneath this turret, is just trying to survive. Dodge away from the Sonic Wave, goes into Cougar form. SofM will not die. 3 kills on this Lee Sin.
SofM is looking so good on his Lee Sin. Well, I was saying, I don't know if SofM can pull it off against Tian in this Nidalee, but he is doing work in this early game. Already 3 kills, already keeping track of Tian. And with Bin in tow, they can set up these plays in the top side.
I'm getting deja vu because Khan on Jayce is failing once again. 0 and 2, and this is where his first death and first blood occurred.
And this is the thing, is Khan has never been someone who can play very well around a weak side top lane. And when we already said, hey look, Tian is going to be playing down right on the bot side, he's just picked up the Dragon, he's going to be resetting, Khan is getting caught out twice, and great job from SofM in this play. Okay, we're everywhere.
Alrighty.
To
Cameraman's an FPX fan. He's tilted. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. Okay.
He just couldn't show it. It was too brutal to see what happened to Tian. Peter would be onto us a little bit too quick. But either way, Tian on this top side ends up getting caught out. Great job from SofM as he moves underneath that turret to not actually auto-attack, throw out that Q, wait until he's right on top of the Cougar before he manages that Sonic Wave.
3 kills on SofM. A gold lead this early on at 1,500. And Doinb gets a kill bot. But that's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. So Jayce put behind again. Bin roaming around. Rift Herald has now spawned. Crisp and Gimgoon are here. Tian's making his way. Doinb doing the same. But everyone, it seems, on Summoner's Rift will be heading towards this objective.
This is going to be very much about setup for both these teams right now. As okay, Sunny will manage to get the Scuttle Crab, but you gotta watch out because Doinb's in a far superior spot as opposed to Hunafeng and also Angel, to be honest. So Gimgoon, if you can find this big engage, can set up for FPX to make the
Doinb was hitting the wave though, as the kick already went through on Crisp. The shockwave hits too, and the curtain call's layering down. Crisp is absorbing the damage. Dives to Bin as Gimgoon gets his ulti onto the backline though. Rift Herald was picked up by FPX, I believe, as SofM takes the damage, and Tian goes into the backline, confident as ever. Hits SwordArt, wants to re-engage, gets the pounds, but golden in the nick of time. Angel low health bar, taken by Khan, as Doinb gets a kill as well. Another Renekton with a triple, but FPX do fight back.
They do manage to get a double kill. They're managing to get that Rift Herald, crucially, which they can now put down in this mid lane, spread that goal between Khan and Doinb, and maybe actually take this turret down. You've got enough damage between Khan and Doinb.
All right. Even though it was more of a favorable trade, still concerned that you just gave 3 kills over to Bin. We just had a game 2 where Renekton took over the Rift.
I agree. And I want to say this with a caveat because so the composition from FPX shouldn't allow this Renekton to get in. You should be able to play at range, not allow him to have as big of an impact. But we saw in game number 2 that didn't really matter for LPL Renektons. We're kind of seeing it in this game as well, where Gimgoon goes aggressive in this fight, and Bin, even on this Renekton, is just being given free fire into this backline. Every time someone tries to move forward, Bin is enabled, and it gives him so much space in this fight to turn and get each of these little skirmishes in which Renekton is massively favored.
Dag, did I just hear you say can't?
Khan. I was trying to say Khan,
that's
but that
okay.
was
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah.
He picked up 2 kills in that fight, and he's got a man immune. And he was 0-2, so Khan is kind of back on the wagon here. Both top laners in decent enough positions. FPX going to start this dragon.
And obviously going for the Manamune here because he's going to be looking at a lot more poke, where you need that tier to try and provide a lot of these accelerated shock blasts. So as we talked about, Jayce, Nidalee, Syndra all trying to play at range and making sure that they can keep the likes of Bin, who's got these 3 kills, the Blade of the Rune King, away from the key damage dealers, especially when you've got Gimgoon on the showstopper. If Bin tries to move forward and get aggressive, well, there's always the opportunity for him to slam him back in on top of Suning and buy space for the backline of FPX.
It's really hard to deal with this Renekton though. Blade of the Rune King picked up, while Doinb in the bottom side wants a bit of turret plating. SwordArt and Hunafeng are on the way. But zoning here from the Syndra while she's moving. The Syndra that has a hose now as first item. And Doinb in quite a favorable position. SwordArt angling for the engage, but Tian and Crisp are coming down. Scout of the week, good. Spear doesn't land. Angel, Shockwave going to pull in Crisp. Teleport's being burned down as well. Khan is here too. Crisp is just going to accept his fate as he dies on in. Bin gets his 4th kill. SofM is cutting them off, and the kick back means Doinb gets knocked on up, and FPX have just gone into the lion's den, but it's more like going into the jaws of a crocodile. Sonic Wave once more, the top side of the map, have all 9 kills in their pocket.
And it has been non-stop from Suning. They are trying to again aggress forward, find these picks, and they do such a good job teleporting from Bin to secure more of that gold into their back pockets. You've now got Hunafeng in the bottom lane, who's going to be able to get some of these turret plates. The mid lane, Angel has been able to grab some, but Gimgoon wants to find the play.
Face break is going to pull him in. Teleport being used, like FPX are reversing the play into the wall. They're going to get Angel with the Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, everything. Scout of the week, give it over to Doinb. Hose will help secure the kill, and that's only one, costing 2-3 kills from before.
It does dissuade Suning from being able to make more of these plays, though. You can see it straight off the bat. Hunafeng, he's got to back away from that bot turret. Can't actually get any of these turret plates off the play that Suning just made. You are getting some of these kills back. But still, Suning are sitting with a 2,000 gold lead.
SofM, is he going to die for a chicken? I know the Colonel would, as over the wall he'll find himself just in the nick of time. I mean, sometimes, I'll be honest, I'd die for KFC. You know, I said it. Teleport, though.
Oh, my God. What is
coming
going
in.
on?
We're fighting. And you know what? That's Angel. Angel has Shockwave available. He's ready to use it on Gimgoon, who absorbs damage. Khan is here with the Shock Blast. Chris flashes away. They turn their tides as Doinb joins the fight. Suning are ambitious. That's because Bin is so large and in charge. Khan, rinse and repeat. Game 1 at this point as Angel's behind enemy lines. He just wants to die again, Dagda. Doinb will grant his wish. And this certainly is an LPL game off to finish the season.
This is how I want to finish my season. This is what I needed from Suning versus FPX. And right now, support Orianna, still making the plays work. 0-3 and 8 for Angel. You're still giving these opportunities for Bin now to crack open this bottom lane turret. Fortunately for himself, obviously, no more of those turret plates. Tian looking to answer on this top side, but Suning are looking again and again to punish where FPX are misstepping. If they have these opportunities to use these teleport plays, get members into the right position where they get these kills, that's how they're looking to try and get themselves to that later game point where Orianna is massive, where you've got the Storm Razors, the Rapid Fire Cannon, the Infinity Edge on this Jhin. But these are so messy and bloody fights that this is like the perfect, as you said, LPL end to the season.
It really feels like these teams are just now brawling. You know, for the sake of brawling, the true LPL way. There's a 2k gold lead for Suning, but I'm not sure I care about that at this point in time. A lot of turret plating taken down. I didn't care about it because we're probably going to have another fight around the Ocean Dragon coming up. FPX already have 2. Ocean Soul this time on the Rift. The ability to push it to Soul Point as Doinb just wants his turret to go down. A bit more gold into his said pocket.
Suning are setting up on this top side though for the Rift Tower that's about to spawn. So you can see the priorities of both these teams, but FPX happy to add a third one to their
Hose
collection.
comes out. Shockwave available. Is it going to be used? Angel's just being a bit of a bully. Gimgoon backs away. They're committing to the top side for the Herald. And FPX going all in to where SofM is in the bottom side. Zenith Blade used and the Javelin thrown is proper English. But Dragon might just be given at this point for the Herald.
Always a potential as FPX. I mean, I thought they would try and set up for this Rift Herald a little bit, see if they can, as Suning move in, get that poke that they have with Khan, Tian, Doinb, and try and take the fight that way. The issue is, if FPX start to move in towards the likes of this Dragon now, it's easy for Suning to dive in on top of them and find these things.
I was just looking at this Renekton who's putting down the Rift Herald. He has 8,500 gold. No damage done because it's a Black Cleaver and Blade of the Ruin King pre-20 minutes. As Herald's dissuaded, but it will get the charge and it will drop. Now, Dragon has spawned. Suning have moved down. Get ready.
But this is where FPX are strongest. While this Dragon isn't actually being taken, they can start to get the poke and try and get some decent damage on towards Suning, but they need to be careful. You can see FPX do the right call of backing into these chokes, which make it a little bit more difficult for Suning to find flanks.
Sonic Wave connects onto Tian. He scattered the weak though, and Doinb comes forward, waiting for his Unleashed Power, the depth charge onto the backline. Doinb goes sky high as Chris blocks the damage. Zenith Blade doesn't connect. He goes golden while Tian is trying to still get an angle here with the Javelin Toss. Scatter the weak. Great with the Shock Blast combo, but FPX have used their poke, and Suning minorly unscathed. Waiting for the next round to come through as SofM walks into the pit. The Dragon will be started. Scatter the weak doesn't connect.
Gimgoon's trying to find a flank. I'd rather see him actually group up with FPX here to provide a front line. Here we go, FPX taking control of River.
Okay, SwordArt is low. Angel zoning him off. Gimgoon at half health goes in. SofM gets the steal, but Scatter the weak unleashes power, and Doinb gets the kill in response. SofM dies too. That's 2 quick kills for FPX, losing the Dragon. And for Suning, that's 30-second death timers.
FPX, though, don't really have the waves in a position to try and take any of these structures. They're only going to be able to push aggressively in. You still got decent wave clear coming through from Angel. Bin can defend this bottom side as well. But at least it is some more kills, a bit more gold going over in the hands of FPX. And suddenly, this game is starting to feel a little bit like Game 2 Hysterics, where we have Suning off to this great start, but they're not quite able to push it across the finish line, and FPX, through their superior team fights, are finding the avenues back into this game.
They are. 19 kills in the time we've had has been a beauty to watch. SofM gets a steal, is the league sin. But meanwhile, Doinb's cleaning and taking care of upper business.
But this is the problem, where we talked about how Suning oftentimes rely on their mid lane AD carry and their support as their engage tools. Now you're looking at Bin, who has to be that engage tool, SofM, who needs to find these kicks, and not able to get any of those combos off in the fight, and it really doesn't look good for Suning.
Doinb just bought him a Jayce. The confidence out of this man in the final game, 4-1-3. He has a Spellbinder, and he is a nuke. Literally, have you played Call of Duty? You know, you get 25 kill streak, and you call in the nuke, game over. Well, that's not the case here yet, but Doinb's going to have a lot of damage.
And this is the thing. You've got a super strong mid-game build coming out from Doinb. Add that with the Magi Soul Stealer. Actually, SofM might feel the brunt of that in a second.
Doinb sending out, Tian rather, sending out Javelin Toss onto Chris now. SofM getting in the back line. He wants to find Doinb, but Unleashed Power kills while Bin is so damn fed himself. He's a massive threat. Gets a kill. It's a 1-for-1 trade as the showstopper used. Gimgoon by himself, though, trying to absorb the damage, but FPX can't help him. Their AoE gone. Solar Flare does a bit of work as they jump on in. Now the fight might turn, but Bin is so damn big. This Croc in Dominus at half health needs to go down, but help from Hunafeng makes it so FPX have been obliterated.
They're all over the place. FPX can't set up properly. The poke isn't coming in. Soon they will find the fight and turn over towards the Baron that has only just spawned.
Teleport going to be burned. There's 4 going to be at this Baron. Teleport from Doinb, who's just spawned. Versus the world with his 1-stack Magi's. What can he do? Aiming for SofM, the hose flies out. Bin gets scattered the weak, so he's not over. Angel now channeling into this Syndra at 2.5k. Angel gets hit once. The hose doesn't connect. Zoned away. Gimgoon's in between him. The shockwave there, but the Baron is dismayed. Given over to Suning, while Doinb just wants to kill Angel, who's sped up with Dissonance. Everyone gets out alive, crucially with the Baron buff.
Dissonance and Phase Rush coming in massively there for Angel, who's able to escape, but very well played by Suning to be coordinated, push FPX back, not give the opportunity for Doinb to come in, who was counting the seconds until his Scatter the Weak came up. This is the nuke you were talking about, Hysterics. That's how strong this mid-game build is from Doinb right now. A few of those Magi stacks will go amiss though in that play, but watch how disjointed afterwards FPX become. You've got Gimgoon who goes in, tries to get this multi-man stun off, can't quite do it. The poke isn't quite there, and then they're like, right, we've got to jump in, we've got to make sure we get this burst damage down. But then when Bin jumps in here again, Tian's going one way, Khan's going another, and a great kick from SofM means they can't even coordinate in time.
Because of Bin's early lead, no one can deal with it.
No.
That is a 3-item Renekton with Spirit Visage, so the poke from Tian, Doinb does nothing. Bin is going to carry this game into a Suning quarterfinals at this point. If Doinb was this fed and Bin wasn't, then you'd see that FPX would have total control over this game, but Bin right now channeling forward in a 4k gold lead, and you guarantee that a lot of it's on him.
A huge portion of that is going to be onto him. A 700 gold bounty SwordArt.
Getting caught out once again, waiting for Scatter the Weak. That does connect. The support called out now sends in the depth charge, sacrificing his life as Gimgoon gets the ulti. It's a 2-man shockwave onto Crispin Gimgoon. Meanwhile, though, Bin aiming for the flank while Hunafeng is actually doing some damage himself. Gimgoon channeling forward, gets the showstopper, the face breaker, and it's more of a melter at this point as Bin picks up yet another kill. Golden away from the deadly flourish. The poke still there. Sonic Wave, resonating strike. SofM not inty because he got a 3-man kick. And now Bin, absolutely the opposite of rubbish for another double.
And there's 20 seconds now left still before Gimgoon is on the board. Suning can crack open the base with this Baron buff, and Suning are looking to power forward into that 4th place LPL slot.
That Angel Thump should be rising for SofM. That kick set up the rest of this base to fall in tatters. The inhibitor drops. Bin is now 11 kills because of it. And that's worth dying for.
And I feel like this is just a shout out against the world that you shouldn't go, or who say you shouldn't go for B1 Renekton. I agree. But still, this blue first pick Renekton doing work. This Lee Sin doing work. And it all stems from this play here, where yes, you get SwordArt is getting caught out, but the shockwave comes through clutch for Angel, sets up for Hunafeng. Bin again playing at this keep away style, so the rest of FPX can't follow up. And again, divide and conquer as way Suning to play this and picking off so many members here.
Ready? Sonic Wave onto Doinb. Oh, the kick. Yeah, well worth dying for. FPX destroyed. Gold lead maximized by Suning. The Baron pays dividends. And with that 5k gold lead and a dragon taken off in the replay, there's no soul on the line.
TP.
Teleport's being burned. Khan just has to get out of it.
Suning are everywhere. They're crawling around the jungle of FPX trying to see who they can catch out. Mid inhib gone down. They want to start working on these side lanes. Bot lane isn't in the best of positions, but we're potentially having a fight here.
Yeah, we are. Through a choke as well. Scatter the Weak used to disengage. Crisp is not really that tanky at this point. And Bin, the level 14 Renekton, is willing to go in over and over.
There's no reason for these teams to be fighting right now. There's no Dragon, there's no Baron. They should be getting their waves in order, especially Suning looking at that bottom lane wave. Would love to have that pushing in conjunction with his mid lane, but instead it looks like they're all going to turn over towards this top side. And with how strong they are, how far ahead they are against FPX, being able to just bully them is definitely a part of the course for Suning.
Here comes SofM once again, though, angling for a fight to maybe end the game with an open inhibitor through mid. The pressure's there. Sonic Wave connects from SofM, who's been confident this whole game long. He's 6-3 and 12 himself. Inner turret gets zoned off, and Suning want another inhibitor.
You can see the confidence from SofM. They're playing right on the edge of range of every ability coming through from FPX, and even manages to dodge away from the accelerated shot blast. Here though, Gimgoon.
But he's on a ward. Suning have done their due diligence. They've dropped the ward down, and Gimgoon can't get in.
SofM playing keep away once again, and FPX, they want to try and find some sort of pick, but they're not confident in trying to go for these engages.
Bin and SofM, the two-man wrecking crew of Suning this game.
Mid lane wave has now crashed in, so this is where Suning want to try and see if they can work together to shove in alongside that mid lane wave, but not feeling confident to, and still that bot lane wave hasn't shoved in to cause more issues for FPX. So FPX are pretty okay with the wave clear that they have between Khan, Doinb, and even Gimgoon to a certain extent to just shove out this wave.
Now, while we see some resets coming through and defending of the base from FPX, we have to note that Doinb, now that his Magi has no stacks, is a bit of a waste of gold, unfortunately. However, the confidence there is always good. I always say real mid laners buy Magi's. This is I guess, a loophole because he's playing bottom lane. So in fact, he shouldn't.
Exactly, and that's why he's on 0 stacks. You see, the logic holds true, Hysterics.
Makes sense. He's got 4 items otherwise. The Void Staff was picked up, and I'm just looking across the board. Maybe I don't have time because Blade of the Ruined King was used by Bin, who took 0 damage. SofM into the backline, though. He gets pulled on in. Kicks over Tian. Over the wall, he's just dead. That was huge from SofM, who survives with Bin now versus the world. He will not die here because there's not enough damage from FPX. Doinb to zone off, but Suning found what they need.
That's the pick that gives them Baron number 2. 27 minutes into this game, there's a 7,000 gold lead for Suning. They are not letting up. They are continuing to push forward, and FPX, they need a miracle, but it's just not coming anytime soon.
Bin feels like Lord Arkham. You know you Warcraft fans out there. He's got divine armor. You can't just kill him. No one does enough damage. And with the Baron going down, this game, this series and quarterfinals is one step away from Suning to putting in the bag.
And V5 feel like they're praying to their PP gods to bring something here for FPX. Find that light in the darkness that they can claw their way back into this game. Dragon could be that answer. If they can get this Ocean Soul, maybe they can weather the storm, but when you're so far away from being able to add that, you're looking at the next 12 to 15 minutes before they can even try and look at adding that into their repertoire. It just feels so far away.
Man, Suning, one of their best series of the split when it counts. One will remember. Again, if FPX lose this series, they will face Suning again. If FPX can beat V5. Because this series, V5 is sitting there relying on FPX to get the win. But Suning right now are not letting them have their way. Another inner turret under threat. Wave clear massive with the Baroned up minions. Scatter the Weak is good. But teleport flank. This is Gimgoon in. Solar Flare on the back line as well. Hunafeng goes golden and Gimgoon stands there for a moment. Ults into the wall against Angel. He's denied here. Gets a nice face breaker, but Gimgoon is dying down. Gets the shield while FPX are in tatters. He drops to Angel and in again goes Lord Archimon. Bin does not die. Tanks up the turret. Says come at me as SofM is doing the dance with no pants. This guy is jumping around the rift. No one stopped Suning, not even the world champions.
And that is going to be it. Suning will take down FPX in game number 3.
When it counts, Suning say we're going to quarters, we want to go to worlds, we want to make the run. They'll get 10 points guaranteed. They'll take down the world champions in the final game, in the final series of the 2020 Summer Split. Suning show up absolutely ginormous.
So well played by Suning, guaranteeing quarterfinals, guaranteeing those championship points, and trying to guarantee that as we move in towards playoffs, they can get towards that world championship and one step closer to that coveted cup.
FPX are going to be having nightmares because they're in that round 1 versing V5. And whoever makes it through has to verse this. Quarterfinals guaranteed. 10 points for Suning. They're in the top side of the bracket. And they secure the 4th seed. This was a victory well deserved. And one that I'm sure a lot of people weren't expecting. When you put world champions up against this squad that failed in spring, that had some adaptations, that made some changes, that we got Bin in the starting roster consistently. This is where they end up at summer, and I don't think anyone would have seen this coming. I had them 13th. This is a very well-deserved win and good performance.
Very much so, and honestly, it's fantastic to see Suning coming into their own. Now, obviously, as they start to work towards like compositions like this, where you've SofM looking confident on this Lee Sin, Bin performing massively on this Renekton on the top side. These were the 2 core carries in this squad, and not the 2 that I expected to be calling out as this series went on. Because when we highlighted the start of the day, Angel and Hunafeng, these are the 2 to keep your eyes out of. A little sprinkling of SwordArt in there every so often with these great engages to set up the 2 carries. But realistically, Bin and SofM, they took over this game against FPX.
I mean, the game 1 was Bin as well, right? And SofM in game number 1 all the same. So there has been some really good moments in this series from SofM. Good to see him rising to that form that, you know, a lot of the Vietnamese fans out there would be happy to see this level of him. He is their representative in the LPL. And more importantly, SofM has a really high ceiling. It's just hard in regular season to find what version of SofM you're going to get, but when he plays out of his mind like this, you see a top 4 jungler, you see a potential top 3. And going into a best of 5 situation now, starting in quarters, Suning are a threat.
Very much so. And I cannot get over the improvement from them from spring to summer.
Yeah.
Like, I know we kind of talk about, hey, look, you know, Suning for the last 3 years, they have vastly accelerated when it got to the summer, and that's when they always hit playoffs. But this is night and day. They look so strong right now with standout performances across the board where you can look towards Angel, these big shockwaves. Hunafeng providing these consistent deadly flourishes in the back line. Bin and SofM looking nuts when it came to these team fights. And FPX, just even though they got the higher damage, just didn't look like this had a chance.
No, they did not. And I have to say, there's a special shout out goes, even though SwordArt was getting caught out, like a lot of his ultis were impactful, Doinb was shut down because Bin was so big. And Bin is the kind of player who, once released from Bubu, has just been going up and up and up, right?
Same with Bubu.
Bubu and Bin, they separate and they're like, we'll see you on Summoner's Rift. And they might actually verse each other because V5, in the same side of their bracket now, are level below. And they have to verse FPX. And FPX, do a bit of a sign-off here because FPX this split has been adequate, to say the least. Like, even though they had a good game within the series, even though they've had some good series, FPX is not a world champion squad. They haven't rolled with the momentum off Worlds. They've done the IG, except they did it earlier in spring, where that's where they fell off a cliff, and they've continued falling. They're putting their hands up like this. No one's grabbing it. No. FPX need to pull themselves up, because this is a team starting in round 1 that may be guaranteed regionals. But are they going to Worlds in this form? I'll tell you right now, absolutely not.
And that's the thing, is that although they have those 40 points coming in from spring, when we look at that championship points, they are wanting to add more to under their belt so that they can guarantee a higher seed when we come in towards those gauntlets runs. And honestly, with the performance that they're putting in, I have almost every other team that would make it into gauntlets ahead of them.
I agree. I think at this point as well, like in going up against V5 at a best of 5, although they have experience in the format, with current form, it's still a hard one, right? Like V5 have a, we'll talk about, we got a show for that. We actually got a show for that. That'll be coming up very, very soon. There is a lot to talk about with Suning though. And I know that now that they're in quarterfinals, there'll be a lot of discussion as to how far they'll actually go. Again, guaranteed 10 points is massive here. They have those inconsistencies within the series. Game 2 was a great example, and we have to be a little bit low-lighting on Suning, because if they fix that, then they're a top team. Because when we see their high highs, we go, wow. You know, people like Bin and SofM we talked about. But the inconsistencies, Dagda, they're the troubles of all teams. Yeah. FPX and Suning are very much alike in that regard.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that obviously getting caught out in a lot of situations was not the way forward. This is why even when we look right the way back, the one that always stands out for me for Suning is that JDG series where they have this massive lead at the start of the split. Then we see them not able to play map states. It always feels like, yeah, Suning can, but are they actually able to? Like, that's the big question for me in a lot of situations. However, I think there's been a huge amount of growth in this team across the board. In particular, SofM. I mean, for a guy who was highly criticized coming out from years past where, oh, well, you know, the play's about to happen, but SofM's actually off farming Raptors.
He's farming.
He has been such an integral part of the success of this team, and especially when we look at him going towards champions that are more farming oriented, where Graves and these kind of styles, he's still getting towards these fights, still providing a carry performance. And then we look at the Lee Sin. He was incredible here in this game.
He finally gave us that experience worth. The guy that's been playing since Season 2 in the GPL, right? SofM, you know, they couldn't play anymore because he was too young in the league. He's been playing League of Legends for such a long time, and now we finally get that experience. It was SofM as the supporting staff, Bin as the carry, who watched Khan in Game 2 and said, I can do that. Hold my beer. A lot of holding beers today, as we just have a full-on Bin highlight for this game number 3.
And I don't blame him. Bin starts off with a triple kill in this clip, and from there it was just up and up and up. 11-0 at the end of this game. Bin was taking over massively, and look, FPX, they just couldn't deal with them. Bin consistently finding these flanking opportunities, getting themselves into the correct position. And when we said already, FPX have this comp that, in theory, can make it very difficult for Bin to have any sort of impact in this game. He just said, hang on a second, I don't care what you think. This is how I play. This is what I do best. Aggressive laners are my home, and I'm going to put FPX back home.
And you know what would annoy some people? B1 Renekton won 2 times in a row. So the trick is, first pick Renekton, and nothing can go wrong.
Blind pick the Jhin, go for the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's a lot here that may not be classic or maybe not be up to the draft book that a lot of people might play through, but this is the LPL, and we make these picks.
Oh, SofM, that kick was gorgeous, and Bin with the cleanup duty. 11-0 and 11. That's like someone, you know, the mouth in the middle, putting his hands up. That's Bin right now. You looking at the score? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People going like this?
Peace.
Peace.
I'm out.
Peace. Or like,
I'm on my way to quarterfinals,
yeah.
you know?
That's
so, yeah. I mean, look, Bin looks fantastic. Looks great. What else can you say? Suning, delighted to have you in the quarters.
Wow. Not what I expected out of today's role. Not what I expected to end off the regular season of the LPL.